My female 25, husband's 30, brother-in-law 33, moved in with us after his divorce a few weeks ago. The problem I have is that he started barging into the bathroom whenever I was using it. He never knocks or anything. Another thing is that he only does this when it's me in the bathroom, not his brother. I told my husband what I'd noticed, but he laughed it off and called me paranoid. It was embarrassing because his brother would see me exposed, making me uncomfortable. My husband said that he spoke to him and he apologized but did it again. When my husband and I got married, we promised not to have locks or lock each other out of any room, so the bathroom didn't have a lock. I was considering getting it a lock, and I let my husband know that if his brother walked in on me in the bathroom one more time, I would instantly install a lock. He didn't say anything. Well, yesterday, my brother-in-law walked in on me showering. He knew I would be in the shower but barged in anyway, claiming he needed to pee. I had enough. I went out and got a lock and installed it. My husband got home, saw it, and blew up on me, saying that I violated an agreement that I was part of and went against his wishes, being uncomfortable with locks in the house. He demanded I remove it and promised and guaranteed that his brother wouldn't walk in on me again, but I refused. He's been angry about it and is giving the silent treatment. Info: I'm not close with my brother-in-law, my husband is. I don't even talk to him much, and I barely even sat with him at any gathering before he moved in with us. So, am I the idiot for installing a lock? Edit: My brother-in-law's divorce ended due to him getting caught cheating with a woman 10 years younger than him. Everyone judged him for it, but my husband was the only one who backed him up and defended him. Moreover, he blamed his ex-sister-in-law and called her an idiot just because she was dealing with a difficult pregnancy last year and couldn't, quote, work on fixing the issues in her marriage. Not the idiot. The no locks thing was an agreement between you and your husband. However, when his brother moved in, it wasn't you and your husband anymore. Therefore, the agreement came to a hold. Tell your husband the lock can be removed as soon as his brother moves out. Doesn't it bother you that your husband backed up his cheating brother, who was clearly at fault, and now your husband's defending his brother at your expense? OP, I hope you realize that you not only have a creepy brother-in-law problem, but you also have a husband problem. I can't even imagine any husband thinking it's not creepy that his brother barges in on you while you're naked in the shower. Does everyone have that privilege? Friends, neighbors, or is that only reserved for the males in the family? So bad. Exactly. I'm concerned for your safety. That's not normal behavior from either of them. Violated an agreement? That's ridiculous. Your husband cares about controlling you. That's all. And your brother-in-law is obviously up to no good, and he needs to go. It's not innocent. You're not being paranoid. You are being gaslit by the sound of it, though. I don't normally advocate for divorce, but maybe you should consider it. Your husband should be making you his number one priority, period, which means your comfort and safety in your own home. You told him that you would put that lock in if your brother-in-law decided on being a peeping Tom again. So he yelled at the wrong person. He should be yelling at his brother and kicking his idiot self out of your house. Throw him in the bin. Both of them, actually. You should download one app that looks for hidden cameras and scan your house. Something is definitely weird about all of this, and it's not you. Update. Before I provide an update on this situation, it's worth noting that my brother-in-law used to do this with the bedroom too, but at least I'm not always exposed in the bedroom. So my husband came home and I told him the lock would not be removed till his brother left, and his reaction was to try and remove the lock himself and to tell me to quit acting childishly. I did not shout or scream, but packed a bag and went to my mom's house for the next few days until this was resolved somehow. On my way out, I saw my brother-in-law in the driveway smoking. He knew what the argument between my husband and me was about, but instead of stepping up to fix it, he offered to take me to my mom's house, saying that my husband could use some space for me. This made me cry the whole Uber ride to my mom's house. The reason I feel offended is that brother-in-law tends to be hurtful when he talks about others. I did all I could to win his approval, but he thinks less of me and thinks I'm childish, just like my husband says. My brother Tom is divorced and has 2 kids, Kim who's 19 and Liz who's nearly adult. Because our father was a deadbeat, he didn't want to raise us and ran off to avoid his child support obligations. Tom is barely around for his kids, yet expects to be praised and hailed as the world's most fabulous father for providing the bare minimum. Tom expects his ex-wife, Rose, to schedule all the kids' events, appointments, and constantly remind him of all the kids' events like he's a child himself. Rose will notify Tom weeks before an appointment or event through email and their court-monitored messaging site. Then she'll send a follow-up reminder the week and the day before the event, including school events, where the school already sends Tom an email. Tom forgets and then blames Rose for being irresponsible, since it, quote, would take 10 seconds for Rose to send me a text. She knows I don't check my email or court-monitored site every day. Tom has reminders set on his phone for Facebook, but he can't be bothered to set up a calendar app. Kim told me that she can count on her hands how many of her events or appointments Tom has ever shown up to. The breaking point for Kim was when Tom forgot about her high school graduation and was instead out drinking with his friends. Kim is at college and has not spoken to Tom since her 18th birthday. Instead of this being a wake-up call for Tom, he again blames Rose and expects to be hailed as the world's greatest father because he financially provides the bare minimum and still is never there for Liz. Tom gets Liz for 10 days a month, and Liz says that Tom is never there and she's just stuck house and dog sitting. Liz said that Tom couldn't remember one of her friends or teachers when she pressed him about it. While visiting our mother's house, Tom complained because he had not shown up to Liz's driving test, where she got her license, and blamed Rose again. Tom then complained about Liz because, quote, now talking to her is like pulling teeth, and how, quote, she tries to make me feel unloved in my own home. Her mother's turned her into an inconsiderate brat. I was biting my tongue before, but Tom insulting his daughter that way made me see red. So I snapped that, Tom, you're a pathetic excuse for a father. How can you expect people to praise you when you give as few praises about Kim and Liz as our father did for us? Tom screamed his head off, but I left. Several people are calling me an idiot because, unlike me, Tom was old enough to remember when our father left, and I was out of line to throw that trauma in his face, essentially. Also, Tom didn't have someone to model how a father should act. But instead of trying to gently correct him, which I've tried many times in the past, I insulted and used profanity toward Tom. I think everything I said was true and deserved. And no matter what, crappy childhoods don't excuse crappy adult behavior. Am I the idiot? Oh, not the idiot. Ignore those several people. Every time Tom brags about how great he is, call him on it. Every single time. Once he learns that he can't pull this crap in your presence, he'll probably stop. You're acting as though his statements make your blood boil. Your blood should be boiling. While you could have dealt with this better and more tactfully, your brother is an idiot, and sooner or later someone would have said as such to him, probably one of his kids. So maybe it was better that you got the lashback instead of them. Many folks grow up with deadbeat parents, and they become stellar parents because they very much do not want to be like their own were. They don't want their children to experience things that they did. Just because your dad sucked does not give you a free pass to be like it too. My parents live in the UK while I live overseas. My cousin 21 also lives in the UK and is pregnant with her first child. Her parents live overseas. However, it is normal in our culture to stay with your parents for the first month or so after you give birth, so they can help with the baby and help you get back on your feet. My dad is her closest relative in the UK, so she asked my parents if she could stay with them after she gave birth, and they agreed. Now, the house is jointly owned by Mom, Dad, and I. There are 2 guest rooms as well as my room, which isn't occupied when I'm not there. The larger guest room is only slightly smaller than my room, but has an ensuite. I go back home every 2 to 3 months and put a lot of money into renovating my room, and there are also lots of baby supplies there for my own infant too. Think cot, a sleep nest, bathtub, car seat, etc. So my cousin is due anytime in the next fortnight, and this week she texted me to tell me she wants to use my room. I told her no. That's my space. It needs to be open for me to travel home. She said it was the nicest of the available rooms, and she needed to be comfortable while recovering from childbirth. Edit. She also said she wants to use my son's cot, car seat, and, quote, anything else there is to make my life easier after delivery. So basically, she wants to use my baby supplies instead of making sure she has her own. I said no, she couldn't just help herself to my space and belongings. But then she started having a meltdown at me over text, so I involved my parents. She got her mom involved, and now my aunt is arguing with my dad, saying he's allowing me to bully her pregnant daughter when she has nobody else to defend her, and how my dad should discipline me and be there for his niece. I don't think I'm in the wrong, but they're making such a huge deal. I'm wondering if maybe I am the idiot. She said it was the biggest of the available rooms, except it isn't available. Not the idiot, OP. Hate to say it, but you'll need a firm lock on that room. Your supplies will disappear otherwise. Cousin is an entitled pregnantzilla. First, it's your room. You have no obligation to share it. Second, there are 2 spare rooms she can use. It's not like she has to sleep on a couch. There are other available rooms. Third, she's a guest. She's a poor guest by making demands. Tell the aunt if she's so concerned, she can get her daughter a penthouse suite at the Hilton. If she wanted to be comfortable after childbirth, she would take the room with the ensuite bathroom. She wants to use all your baby furniture and supplies without having to get her own. I would bet she gave her mom some exaggerated story so that your aunt would try to bully you and your parents into letting your cousin have her way. If your aunt is mad, she should make arrangements to take her in. Your cousin is a moocher, and I feel your parents will have a hard time kicking her out once she's well planted. I'd make a surprise trip home for funsies. Also, to change the locks right before leaving and being the only person with that key. You are one of the owners. This is some choosing beggar crap. We live on a block filled with kids, so every now and then, I like to get a bounce house and throw a little backyard party for them. I threw another one last week. I want my sons to have good memories with their neighbor kid friends because they all attend different schools. I told the parents about the party, and that was instead of an invite. I didn't invite the preteen girl who lives next door. Why? My God, she screams over everything. It's not even a scream. It's ear-piercing screeching. I cannot stand it. I can tune out the loud sounds from my boys and their friends, but not that girl screaming. It's like she sees a bug. She screams. She thinks someone is chasing her, and she screams. She jumps off a swing. She screams. I'm pretty sure it's for attention, but I can't spend my Saturday listening to it in my backyard. I'd end up yelling at her, and I don't want to do that or come across as an angry dad. Her parents did ask me if something was wrong because she wasn't invited. I bluntly told them that I couldn't take that screaming. They said she was no louder than any other kid. No, she's much louder. I told them I didn't want to discuss it any further, but if and when she can stop that screaming, I'll be more than happy to invite her to my backyard parties. They were deeply offended. I'm not looking for suggestions to lessen her screaming or possible explanations for her screaming. I just don't want to hear it or be around it. So, am I the idiot because I purposely didn't invite a neighbor girl to a party because she screams at everything and explain that to her parents who were offended? Not the idiot. Her parents are the idiots here. It sucks for the kid, but this may wake mom and dad up to the real-life consequences of not setting behavioral boundaries for their child. Letting kids constantly scream, aside from being inconsiderate to everyone else in earshot, is just bad parenting and unsafe. Her age is 3rd grade for most kids. That's old enough to be taught basic limits, and the reasoning of screaming is for emergencies only. You're free to invite whoever you want to your home and exclude whomever. You didn't try to parent the child. You told the parents when and if she stopped screaming, she could be invited. All kids should be taught that there is a time and a place for behaviors. If at their house there's no volume limit, fine. But it's also as simple as saying that at Mrs. X's house, we have to use our indoor voices at all times. Your party, your guest list. Simple as that. You are the idiot. You invited every single kid but her, so she'll see all the kids there, and she'll know she was the only one not invited. I understand that you don't want to deal with an annoying child, but that's mean. It'd be different if she was a bully or was mean to the other kids, but excluding her because she's loud isn't nice. And again, she literally lives next door. I hope the parents take her away that day so she won't have to see the other kids having fun and wonder why she isn't allowed to come. I proposed to my girlfriend of 7 years, and I don't think anyone was surprised, but it's still a big deal to us. So we wanted to make a thing about it. So we rented the event room at a fancy restaurant and invited the people most special to us for the big reveal. To keep the nature of the evening secret, we arranged for one-on-one dinners with each attendee. We made sure to pick a day when everyone was free. These were just our best friends and closest family, so we almost managed it. The only person who said she couldn't make it was my mom. She said she was going to a concert that night. We couldn't reschedule, so I decided I would call her when her concert was over and have everyone break the news to her as a group, so she would still be somewhat included. So that's what sort of happened. The dinner started at 8. Everyone got there and were super surprised to see each other. I led them to the room and my girlfriend showed everyone the ring. There were congratulations, food, drinks, and revelry. My mom said her concert ended at 9, so at 9:30 I called her. When she answered, everyone greeted her, and she asked what was going on. I told her. She said she would talk to me later and hung up. She's incredibly upset that I let her miss my engagement party for a concert. She says I should have told her, but that would have ruined the surprise. My mom isn't good at keeping secrets. I'm her only son and she's devastated she missed this once-in-a-lifetime event. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. I'm sure she would have dropped that concert immediately. It's your mom, for God's sake, not a friend. I get why she's upset. It was more important to you to surprise the rest of your guests than to have your mom there. Really? Dude, the surprise was more important than having your mom there. You could have just said, listen, it's a significant dinner. I need you there. Please come and you'll be happy you did. The worst part of this is that you don't feel remorse or regret for hurting your mom, and you cannot make it up to her. Honestly, keeping things a secret for the surprise factor is overrated. Sure, it's nice to see their immediate reaction for 10 seconds, but the risk is that it leads to unintended consequences where people don't prioritize attending because they didn't realize how big of a deal it was. You had already proposed to your girlfriend, but wanted to throw a surprise engagement party for everyone else. Why? Particularly when you said that this wouldn't be surprising to anyone. You should have told your mother that it was an engagement party. The more I think of it, the whole thing reeks of narcissism. First telling people that you're having dinner with them, and then when those people arrive, telling them that you're throwing yourself your own surprise engagement party, and that they're attending whether they want to or not. Ugh, you're practically screaming, look at me, congratulate me. Aren't you happy for me? Isn't it great that everything is all about me? But ironically, you didn't include the one person at the party who was most likely to feel that exuberant over the engagement.